restaurants right now.
Top 3 restaurants. Fast food or just
Fast
restaurants?
Fast food.
Oh, can it be restaurants all over? Like overall? Like can we do sit down too?
You know what? Why not?
Okay. Number 1, Cracker Barrel. Shameless plug, Cracker Barrel. Number 2, Olive Garden. Number 3, Cookout. I included a fast food in there as well.
I agree with you, Cookout. But my number 1, actually, I will start with number 3. Number 3, and mine is just fast food. So,
okay.
Number 3, probably Cane's or Guthrie's. They're sort of like the same restaurant.
Yeah.
But
Cane's is better.
I think they taste the same.
I don't know. I've never had Guthrie's though, so I can't really say.
Well, there you go. I feel like you don't get an opinion unless you have some. Like, if somebody's told me, like, if you watch, I feel like that movie's terrible. It's like you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, you don't get an opinion.
That's facts.
But anyway, number 3, those 2. Number 2, Cookout. And number 1, Whataburger.
Oh, dude. Whataburger's actually really good.
It's good.
I had Whataburger when I went down to Florida.
It's in Florida?
Yeah, it's in Florida. I think it's just like a southern thing. I don't know. But have you ever had Bojangles?
I've not.
Bojangles is really good.
Well, I remember when we went down to the core overnight, I asked, Josh, was they good? He said, yeah.
Bojangles?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Terrible?
He said it was terrible.
I like it. I thought it was really good. They
Really?
have this sauce. It's just like a honey mustard.
What type of restaurant is it?
It's like a sit-down restaurant. It's a fast food restaurant where you can sit down. It's fried chicken.
Fried chicken?
Yeah,
okay.
It's really good. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't describe it as terrible.
I don't know. They said it was bad. I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
It looks cool.
It is. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah. But Whataburger.
Whataburger's pretty good. I think I get a double cheeseburger everywhere I go.
Dude, you just get a normal burger, and it's still.
Yeah.
It's like the Chick-fil-A, but for burgers.
Yeah, facts.
Not boogers.
Burgers.
Anyway, well, welcome. I thank you for coming on.
No problem. It's an honor.
Fine. I want to talk to you a little bit about how you found Jesus and yeah.
All right. So my testimony.
Yeah, testimony.
All right. Where should I begin? Should I do a little life story?
You can.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Well, this is actually this won't be really scripted because we don't really know too much about each other's past. I don't think.
I mean, I've known you for not even a year yet.
Yeah, not even a year.
And I know a few things about you.
Yeah, just from study and stuff. But
yeah,
we'll go a little into depth. All right. So July 31st, 2007, I was born. All right. So when I was first born, a couple days after I was born, my dad left for the military.
Okay.
And I think he was in Iraq, Ramadi, Iraq, in about from 07 to I think 09 or 010. So he was gone for a little bit, and it was just me and my mom, I think, and my sister. Because I have a sister, and she was born in 03. She was born in 03.
Okay.
And so it was us, and then my dad came home, and I was about 3 or 4, I think, at the time, if that checks out. Yeah, about 3. And my parents were kind of rough. They have lived a rough life. So when my mom and dad were younger and about my age, they were parents already to my sister. Oh. And so my mom had my sister when she was 16. She got pregnant at 15. My dad was 17 and went to the Army when I was born, whatever. Mm-hmm. So try to keep up because I kind of go all over the place with my stories. So something that they both struggled with growing up was drugs. Drug addiction is a huge thing in my family. My uncle struggled with it, and my mom and dad struggled with it. My mom did drugs while I was in the womb. So it's a miracle that I am the way that I am.
Yeah. And
the way that she's still alive and the way that she is, that's a miracle in itself. Literally, the doctors said they don't know how she's alive. So that kind of gives you a little glimpse into how bad drugs was in my family.
Yeah.
So when I was about 4 or 5, I think, little hard to remember, but around that age, 4 or 5, my parents lost custody of me because they had both, at the same time, gone to jail. And at this time, I'm living with my grandma, my sister, and my cousin, my grandpa. And my uncle was living there as well. And like I said, he struggled really bad with drugs. Mainly weed, but some other drugs as well. And he struggled with going in and out of jail. And when my dad went to jail, he had just got back from Iraq. So he went to the Army and then went to jail.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it was kind of like he was never really there for me. Like, I know I was young, but he was never there to be my dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also for my parents, they had, like I said, rough lives. My dad struggled with, like, his relationships with his parents and stuff. So that's, like, a factor that plays in a little bit of my life. Yeah, so I'm living with my grandma at the time and my cousin, and me and my cousin were really close, but we would fight a lot. I had a lot of anger built up in me, and I don't know why. We would just get into it. I think it was like a lot of childish stuff, but also I believe that like there's something deeper. You know, there's something deeper. Again, I didn't have my parents to tell me what right from wrong at the time.
Yeah.
So I was a little like, kind of a little douchebag essentially. I was a little rough guy, and so my sister was there too, and we were back and forth between my dad's mom and my mom's mom.
So your grandparents?
So yeah, both my grandmas, and they both lived in Covington. So back and forth that, and then also both my grandmas argued a lot. They fought a lot, and a lot of the times in front of us, in front of me and my sister when they would drop each other off and stuff. So like the custody thing, that was always a big part of my life growing up, because I never really had, like I said, I never really had a father figure when I was younger. My dad's still in my life today, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But fast forward, let's say, how much should we go forward? Let's say around when my parents got custody of me.
Okay. It
was about 2015, 2016, and about 2014 to 2016, let's say that.
Okay.
And we're living in Covington, and they are trying to get back on their feet because they had just gotten custody of us, and it was a really big struggle to get custody of us. So they got into custody, and we're trying to get back on our feet as a family now. And we're doing things together as a family, but my mom and dad are also, like, arguing in front of us, like, really bad, like, loud yelling and fighting. I never saw it to be, like, physical abuse, but definitely verbal with each other. Mm-hmm. And seeing that at a young age, I think, really, like, traumatized me, in a sense. I think that word is, like, tossed around a lot, but I think it can do some damage, you know what I mean?
Yeah. To
the way that you grow up.
The thing is, like if you ever just say you're a ding dong, but like I meant it, like obviously I'm joking, but like it could like really hurt. Yeah. The things you say really do hurt, and especially as a younger age. Yeah. It's like you gotta be careful with. Like my little sister was mad at me, and it's just like I'm trying to be nice, but I also gotta remember she's a kid. Yeah. Not a. Yeah, and like that stuff sticks. Whatever you say to someone at that age sticks, which is the case for me because I held a lot of anger in when my parents would argue and fight in front of me, because it felt like when they would do it, they would do it as if me and my sister weren't even there, you know? So that hurt deep down. I didn't really like grasp that it hurt, but it is something your brain kind of understands, no matter how old you are. So I held a lot of that in and resented them a little bit for that, and I'd always been angry at them. And so let's fast forward to 10 years old. I was 10. My grandpa died from a heart attack at the age of 50. So he was really young, and he died kind of out of nowhere. It was really sudden. And me and my grandpa were pretty close. I have a tattoo with his birth year. This bracelet was his. My grandpa was awesome. He was a really cool guy. Yeah.
He didn't know Christ, I don't think. You never know. You know what I mean? That's kind of like a thing. I can sit here and say, yeah, I don't think he did, or he did. But that's kind of a thing where it's like, you can never be too certain on someone else's heart. Mm-hmm. You know? I think by the fruits of someone's life, you can tell. But me being so young, he was around every now and then.
Did you guys go to church at all, or?
Okay, so we never really went to church. Jesus was never really in my life, if I'm being honest. I never heard the gospel preached to me. I do remember this one time. My grandpa, me and my cousin were sitting on my grandpa's bed, and he told us this. We were really young. He said, one day, boys, you guys are going to die, and you're going to stand before the Lord, and you're going to have to give an account of your life. And I didn't understand. I mean, that's like the only thing I can remember of Jesus before the age of 11.
Yeah.
And I must have been like 7 or 8 at the time. So I'm glad you asked that, because that kind of like sparked that memory for me. So that was interesting. But church was never really like anything that we went to regularly as a family when I was away from my parents and when I was with my parents.
Yeah.
My mom has a firm belief in God. Again, I can't tell her heart, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know that she loves Jesus. But that's a whole other story. So I think she prayed for me a lot throughout my entire life. I think every mother does, whether they claim that they believe in God or not. I think every mother prays for their child.
I think because it's a little hard because I'm not a parent or anything, but I've heard from some of you, from my parents, like as soon as you have a child, it's like you have a completely different perspective of the world.
Yeah.
And it's just like now you like my dad is he definitely makes sure we're safe. So like, I can't do sleepovers, and I understand why. Like there's stupid people out there.
Yeah.
But as a parent, it's like, oh man, I have to give my trust to my child. It's
hard. It's hard. And my mom has been, like I said, someone that's prayed for me throughout my entire life. So my grandpa died when I was 10. That did some damage to me. It left a hole in my heart for a while. And so in middle school, fast forward to middle school, and a little bit of 5th grade. In middle school, I really tried hard to fit in, and I really tried my best to make sure I had friends. And especially 6th grade. 6th grade was a rough year. Yeah. I'd gotten a girlfriend, and because it was the cool thing to do, I thought. Mm-hmm. And we were, just hanging out all the time. I thought, this is epic. This is super great. And it was really random. She just broke up with me.
Yeah.
She broke up with me, and I was like, oh.
Sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. So, in 6th grade, after she broke up with me, you don't know what goes on in, someone else's head, and I don't know what was going on in my own head at the time. But in the 6th grade, after she broke up with me, I was 11 years old. In October, I had tried to kill myself. And that was rough. Mm-hmm. That was rough for my whole family. It was rough for me. Because I kind of did it for attention. But then again, I think there's something deeper,
Yeah.
I didn't have much attention, at home and stuff like that. So I think doing that was a big, it was weird, because I'm still not sure why I did it. So my mom, when I was in the hospital, I went to a behavioral center, Sun Behavioral, and my mom had this friend, her name's Laura, and Laura and my mom would pray for me almost every night, because there was a force around me. No matter how young or old you are, there's a force around you if you don't know Christ. There's an evil force around you, and you need freedom from that. And so they were praying for me all the time, just praying that I would get better and things like that. So I'd taken a lot of pills and I never really like thought. I didn't see it through. I didn't see like what would happen after. I didn't think about what would happen after, or if it worked, which was it was really scary thinking about it now.
So you're doing that for like fulfillment?
I guess almost. I guess I wanted a lot of attention, and that's kind of why I did it. I tried to kill myself because I wanted attention.
Yeah.
Because I went on Instagram Live, and I took a bunch of medicine. I think it was headache medicine, but I took a lot, and I had was getting really sick. And my sister told my mom because she was on Instagram and saw it, whatever. And I remember I remember being a little scared and being like, when everything, just when my mom found out and we were trying to get, go to the hospital and whatnot, I was really scared. I was remembering, or I was thinking, I don't want to die. I didn't want to die. Mm-hmm. It's a scary thought. Am I about to die? Did I make a mistake? It's too late if I did make a mistake,
Yeah.
But I think God had different plans for me. So, whenever that all settled down and I got out of the hospital, things were different for sure. My parents were starting to get along more, but they'd still it's kind of dysfunctional. Our family was a little dysfunctional, subtly though. I mean, sometimes you see families who are completely dysfunctional, like the shameless family. They're really dysfunctional, but then you have modern American families who lack love for one another. And that's kind of what it was for us.
No, I understand.
So I had a group of friends, Charles, mm-hmm. Robert, Eric, and Jaden.
Okay.
And we had a couple other friends. And that was my main friend group in 7th grade.
Yeah.
In 7th and 8th. That was my main friend group, and we had been through a lot together. We had just joked with one another and whatever. We laughed together, ate together, whatever. It was awesome. We're still friends. And I think that's pretty important to put in there. So my friends, we were pretty toxic towards one another most of the time. More than loving each other, we were spiting each other and hating each other.
Finding ways to just be mean.
And cover it up as funny. Mm-hmm. So that did. I mean, whether you think it did, whether I think it did or not, it hurt. It added more damage and widened that hole in my heart. So 8th grade, I get a girlfriend, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Because I had always was I've been chasing this girl for a while. I was like, you know what? This is great. This girl's going to make me happy. We're going to date. It's going to be awesome. We're going to do all the things boyfriend and girlfriends do, which I didn't know what boyfriends and girlfriends did at the time.
Yeah.
But we dated, and we dated for about a year and a half into our freshman year. And then I poured a lot of myself into her, and I think she poured a lot of herself into me. But mainly me, I put so much of my time and effort into our relationship, and it never seemed to satisfy me.
Yeah.
And it was really, really toxic, and there was a lot of dignity lost with one another. And so the end of freshman year, the summer going into my sophomore year, we break up because for a long time I had felt trapped almost. It's the feeling of sin. It's the weight of sin on your neck. You just feel trapped. And I felt that for a long, long time. I didn't know that's what it was, but I felt it. So we broke up, and I started to, this is the summer of my sophomore year, so I was 15 years old, and I started to talk to a bunch of girls. And there was this one girl that I got really, really obsessed with, and then after that, it was another girl. And after that, it was another girl. So we're well into my sophomore year. And during the summer, I had started smoking weed, marijuana, and I was like, okay, well, if the girls aren't going to fill me up the way that I want them to, if they're not going to give me the love that I want, maybe weed will make me feel good. Being cool will make me feel good.
So this is the fulfillment.
Yeah, this is the fulfillment part of life that I can, like, remember. So I'm like, okay, so this isn't working, the girls aren't working, you know, the love they're giving me is not working. All right, let's try weed because I want to be cool. Let's try the attention.
Yeah.
So I started smoking weed. I hung out with a couple friends and we smoked weed, and I didn't feel anything. I didn't get high. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, well, I want to get high. I want to see what it feels like. So me and my friends, we went out to eat, and I bought weed from this guy, from one of my friends actually, and I just like went home and started smoking. Keep in mind, like I said, addiction runs in my family like really well, mm-hmm. and it's a struggle that we've all struggled with. Yeah. And weed was huge for me. So, well into my sophomore year, I'm addicted to marijuana, like heavily addicted to marijuana. I don't care what anybody says. It's easy to get addicted to anything. So, well into my sophomore year now, and I am heavily addicted to marijuana, and I'm smoking pretty much every day, smoking weed every day, and weed is an interesting drug, plant, whatever you want to call it. It affects your brain in many different ways, and at the age of 15, I consumed a lot of it, mm-hmm. and so my brain was messed up, and the cognitive functions that I needed to make at that age I was not making good decisions.
Yeah,
because I was getting so high and high as a kite that I like could not comprehend what would come after this decision and what would come after that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I couldn't comprehend because my brain was fried, you know?
So I've never, like, I don't do drugs. I've never been high in any circumstance, but like, just, what is it like, you know?
Well, it's almost like, it's kind of like you're.
Sorry, I thought you were.
No. It feels good. I'll say that it feels good. But I think the love of Christ is way better than any drug you could ever take. But what it feels like is like you're almost like spaced out a little bit, and you feel like you're almost like you're out of your body. For me, at least, it felt like you're out of your body, and then you're relaxed. But for me, I got really paranoid, like a lot.
Yeah.
And so I'll get into that. So girls now. It's girls and weed. And me and my cousin, we start up a clothing brand, which was silly.
A clothing brand?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it didn't do too hot. We tried our best, but it didn't do too hot. But my intention with that was like, okay, well maybe I'll have more money so I can buy more weed. And maybe I'll have something that the girls may like. And because maybe my goatee, I idolize my facial hair a lot, and my hair, and just the way I looked. Maybe my body isn't enough for them.
Yeah.
So maybe the money. Let's try the money, okay? That didn't work. Nothing was working. Nothing.
So you went through girls, weed, and then
money.
And money.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I used Snapchat a lot. I used it a lot to take videos of me just smoking weed and stuff. I mean, I've been through it as a follower, like as a believer now. Like, it's kind of crazy to look back and see it. But I definitely gave all of myself to something that was letting me down.
Yeah.
Whether it was girls, money, weed, whatever. So if it wasn't my body, that wasn't enough. I'll give you something else. Well, that's not like good enough for you. Okay, well maybe more money. You know, so that's kind of where I was at. And so I was always looking for something to fill the white, like this hole is, at this point in my heart, is huge. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm looking for something. And so in 2023, this winter of 2023, I'm kind of at my low point now. I'm really at rock bottom, and I'm just like, dude, nothing is working. I'm not even kidding, dude. I'm this depressed, lonely, I have barely any friends, and the friends that I do have are not good for me.
Yeah.
The decisions I'm making are awful. my classes. I'm not passing any of my. I think I'm passing 2 classes, and the grades are horrible, and just it was bad, man. It was bad. So in 2023, I was like, all right, I'm at my lowest. I need something. And I was like, you know what? God, if you're out, this was kind of like one of those moments was like, Jesus, God, if you are out there, I need some help.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because he did and didn't help me. It's like, it's weird because he was there the entire time through that, and he was holding me through that. The reason I say he didn't help me is because there was times where I was just like not letting him at all. So it was it was funny because, not funny, but ironic because I was crying out for help. My soul was crying for something to fill me up, but I was looking for Jesus in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
I was looking for the love of God in weed. I was looking for the love of God in girls. I was looking for the love of God in money. I was looking for the love of God in bad friends and doing things that would give me attention. I was looking for the love of God in all the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm at this point where I'm like, all right, let's start venturing into Christianity and into God and whatever. So now I make this list on my phone. I still have it. We were just reading through Luke, the Pharisees, super legalistic.
Yeah.
This is a note that I had. Let's see if I can find it.
With you being like legalistic?
Oh yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. Just give me 1 sec. Okay, so the note is called Get Right with God. Take these notes serious. So we have unfollow toxic, negative social medias. Start going to church. No smoking, no cussing, no girls until you're ready to settle down. Be happy for others. Look for the best. Don't dress sloppy. Caught up. Spread the gospel. I was kind of like, I was kind of a Christian, but kind of not.
Wait, so this is before you knew Jesus?
Yes, but this is before I knew Christ.
Yeah.
And also, this is something I forgot to mention that I feel like should go in. So in my 8th grade year, I was really into politics. Yeah, I was really into politics, and I supported Trump heavy.
Oh,
I was a big Trump supporter, but I was also a Christian. Yeah. I was a BLM guy and whatever. I was that was when COVID was happening and stuff, and the riots and all that, so I was going crazy. And so I was a Christian. But I was so hateful.
Yeah.
Very hateful in the way that I spread the gospel.
That's a lot of people, though.
It is.
Because people could have, they would agree with everything on that list.
Yeah. And none of that's bad.
It's none of it's bad. Yeah. None of it. But nobody will, I think the Christianity, when you find Jesus, it's about loving God, Yeah. It's easy to okay, I believe in Jesus, I confess, but it's that second part in Romans where it's love Jesus in your heart, right?
Yeah. And all of this stuff will soon follow if you love God. But that was the thing. When I was in 8th grade and I was on the politics stint and my Jesus stint, I didn't love Jesus. I loved the idea of using him for my good.
Yeah.
And so fast forward December 21st, 2022, 10:49 p.m. I was probably high. I'm not going to lie. I was probably high. But if I wasn't high, I was really, really at rock bottom and was trying to find something to fill me up. Mm-hmm. And so at this point, now, it's being legalistic. Believe in God. Sorry. Don't be afraid to tell people that you believe in God. Go to sleep at a good time. So it's this legalistic checklist so that I could be fulfilled and be right with God. Newsflash, that's not how you're right with God.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the sacrifice or the blood of Jesus. I knew nothing about Christ.
But it's crazy because you knew the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That all those things are what you had to do. But this is what you tell Christians that go to church and they're like, I need to go to church, I need to do this, I need to do that. But you will not get any fulfillment if you don't know Christ. Like, you do all of that, and if you don't know Christ...
Yeah, it was so much of that, too. I need to do this. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. And I would hyperfixate on something that I needed to do to be fulfilled. Mm-hmm. So, this is where it gets good.
All right.
So, March of 2023. Actually, hold on. We're going back a little bit. Sorry. I start talking to this other girl. And I get really, really obsessed with this girl. And so this is about like January to March. Yeah,
I got you.
And we're talking, and everything's going good. And, and we're really close friends, and I'm starting to really like her. And it wasn't enough for me. I needed something. And that's when I kind of was starting to follow that list, whatever. By the way, I was still smoking weed.
Yeah.
Still smoking weed almost every day. And listening to music was like a big thing for me. And if I wasn't listening to music while I was high, my day was ruined. If I wasn't high, my day was ruined. Mm-hmm. So essentially, that girl really had a hold on me. Not her herself, but the idea of a relationship with her had a hold on me. She treated me very poorly, but I could never see that. I never wanted to admit it. I could feel it, and I could kind of see it, but I never wanted to admit it. So, okay, here's where it gets good. March of 2023, I go to my first club.
Ooh.
I go to my first club.
Just explain to them what...
Okay, so club is... At the time, it was Young Life. But we go into someone's basement. At the time, it was Eric Spiegel's. You know Spieg?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So Eric Spiegel's basement in Oak Brook. Or his garage, sorry. His garage in Oak Brook was packed with these kids. And everybody was just dancing and having fun, and there were skits, and it was crazy. And my first club, Bryson, my friend Bryson, you know Bryson, right?
Bryson.
My friend Bryson Stanfield invited me to club, and oh my goodness, I'm leaving out a lot of good parts. September of 2022, when I was really down bad, and was like way before this was a little bit before I was really depressed.
Yeah.
I went to a hangout. So I had known of Young Life. So I had known of Young Life, and Josh Fisher picked me up and took me home. And this is actually kind of crazy. He preached the gospel to me in his car in 2022. But other than that, I just left after that. I didn't come back until March. So I was like, Josh, what are we doing? In March, I go to club, and we're dancing around, and I'm kind of like the cool kid, I'm just
you got those cool dance moves.
No, I wasn't dancing. I was too cool to dance.
Really?
Yeah, I thought so.
Huh.
And so I wasn't dancing. I was kind of just throwing a couple moves in there every now and then. Because I liked it. I thought it was super fun, but my ego and my pride would not let me have fun.
Right.
And so Josh takes me, and he takes me there and back. So he takes me there and home. And I just remember that, I don't remember what word.
That's the guitar, you're fine.
I don't remember anything he spoke to me, but I just remember his actions, he really loved me. I could feel that this guy was an awesome and genuine guy. Because he was the guy that was speaking at club. He was the club speaker.
Oh, okay.
So they got up there and started talking about Jesus, and I was like, huh, okay. It's a little interesting. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny that God is doing this right now. He's got me in this place right now. I always believe that God had me at a place in a certain time, whatever. So I was like, this is interesting that God has me here right now.
Yeah.
Especially with where I was at. So I'm still smoking weed at this time, and living a double life essentially, because I'm kind of going to Young Life stuff, going to campaigners. It was campaigners at the time, core. Mm-hmm. It was campaigners, and I was going to campaigners. I was going to club and hangouts and all the fun stuff. And I was going to go to summer camp. And I told my mom about it. And this is where I was starting to feel fulfilled, because I had felt the presence of God and the love of God through my friends.
Okay.
So this starts to get really good. I am having a blast my summer. I was smoking weed, but also I was getting a fill up of Jesus. So I'm getting high, and I get to, be a Christian.
Right.
So I was very, very, very lukewarm.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even say I was a Christian at all, actually.
Right.
So I went to this campaigners one time, and I remember this talk that Josh gave. There was a few people. It was like probably five or eight people. 5 or 8 students.
Like there?
Yeah.
Really?
At
now there's so much more.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. So I remember this talk that Josh gave on Revelation 3:16, and talks about being lukewarm. And I was kind of struck with it. I was like that, the feeling that you get. I was like, I really started thinking. So Jesus was moving in me. Jesus was moving in me, man. The Spirit was moving, and I felt conviction for like the first time ever. Because you always have the law written on your heart. That's biblical. You always know right from wrong.
Because you had that list. You knew what was right and you knew what was wrong.
But that was the very first time I was ever hit with conviction.
Yeah.
And so a couple months, and I'm just like, I'm like, oh, dang. I kind of don't want to think about it because I know it's right. I'm not living for God right now. I'm not, living a life that's pleasing God. I'm not living a Christ-centered life. So now I'm talking to this other girl in May of 2023. And it's the same thing, dude. It's the same thing. It never fails. We're talking. We show that we're really interested in each other. And then, boom, just like that, it ends. And I'm like, what did I do? I thought it was so good. We go to the Young Life stuff. We go to club together. Like, I've seen her at court. So she's got to know Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And I was wrong. She didn't know Jesus at all because I didn't know Jesus at all. And so again, I'm still getting high, still smoking weed. This time with Robert, where me and Robert were smoking weed together. And let's see where we at. Okay, so we end things, and I'm just really heartbroken. And now this is where I'm like really, really just like, okay, I can't continue to live a double life if I want to be happy. I just can't do it. This is the last couple days of school, and I knew that summer camp was coming up, and I was really excited because I knew it was going to be a fun time, but also I knew that God was going to be there. This was my first ever. I felt, and I knew that I wanted Christ.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted Jesus. So we end things, and I'm just at my lowest point, and I'm like, Jesus, I want you, and that's what my heart was crying out. So now we go to summer camp, and we're at Rockbridge, Virginia. That was an awesome camp.
Ooh.
And so this whole week, I'm hearing the gospel preached out, and the pools, the pool.
The swimming pool?
No.
Or the table pool?
The pool in the Bible, sorry.
Oh, okay.
The pool in the Bible. Like the pool of Bethsaida, I think it's.
Oh, like the guy who goes in.
Yeah.
I know.
And so they're telling the story of this guy who is waiting and waiting and waiting for someone to give him this miracle pool, this water that will heal him.
Yeah.
And make him whole again, and he'll be all right, and he'll be fulfilled, and he's able to walk again. And Jesus just comes up to him and says, "Do you want to be healed?" And when they said that over when the club speaker was talking about that, I was like, what? I was like, what? Like, it clicked for me. Mm-hmm. I was like, that is me. That is 1,000% me. I am the man at the pool. And these pools that I've been turning to was money, was weed, and was girls. And later that week, Josh Fisher and I had a conversation, and we were just talking. And at this point, I had realized I am a sinner, and I am going to go to hell if I were to die. At that point, I was going to hell. Yeah. And I had heard the gospel. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, died so that I could have a relationship with God.
That's crazy.
That was crazy to me. Almost unbelievable, but I believed it. And I'm the type of person that's not going to pass up a good deal. Mm-hmm. I took it. So Josh Fisher and I, we had a conversation, the one-on-one, and we just sat me down and we were just talking, and I remember like what I was wearing and where we were walking. I remember like there was almost tension. There was almost like tension, like a built-up tension, or what's the word? Like it's build-up suspense. There was almost suspense.
Yeah.
There was almost suspense with it because we were walking to the place, and I was like, "Am I about to do it? Like, am I about to give my life? Are things gonna change?" And so we get to. I remember where we were. We were sitting on the balcony of like the game room at Rockbridge, and there's this really beautiful view of just trees. I thought it was awesome and beautiful.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in chairs and we're just talking, and Josh puts me at this crossroads, and he's like, "Okay, you've heard the gospel, you know a little bit about Jesus now. You know that he saved you, you know that he has come to save you, and that he wants to be your friend. And you also know that the life that you live now is unsatisfying, and that if you continue to live it, it will leave you unsatisfied." And it's like almost scary thinking about it now that I had a choice. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's scary that I had the choice to turn away from Christ, which is like it's honestly kind of scary because I would have gone back to misery, straight misery. But I just remember like something came over me, man. Something came over me.
It's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and I started crying, and I was like, yes, I want Jesus. And he asked me like, "Do you want Jesus?" And I told him, "Yes, I want Jesus. I want Jesus so bad, and I want to be free from everything. I want to be free from the weight of sin on me." And oh man, it was awesome because when I had fully accepted the Lord into my heart, something just kind of came over me. Yeah. And like you said, it was the Spirit. I didn't know that at the time, but it was awesome.
I know when the first time I felt Jesus, I felt a huge rush inside my chest.
Yeah.
And it's all around my heart, and it's
yeah.
It's like, man, he's really there. And that was 3 years ago. It's just crazy.
It's crazy now because that was a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, which is crazy. But yeah, I just I said yes. I said yes to the Lord, and I mean, I'm not even kidding, man. I remember I was bawling and I said, "I have wanted this for so long." I don't know why I said that, because it wasn't like me to, be emotional like that. Because like I said, my dad was never really emotional, so I never had a male figure in my life to show me that it's okay to be emotional.
Yeah. Well, even then, he's like military, right?
Yeah, so he's hardened,
yeah.
So it was awesome. My heart was going through so much. It was like being liberated. You know what I mean? It was being set free. I wish I could go back and just I'd pay money to see that happen, or be there again. You know what I mean? Because I don't think anything comes close. Other than seeing Jesus face to face, I don't think anything comes close to the moment that I met Jesus Christ. The moment that I gave my life to him and put it in his hands is just that sigh of relief after being a slave to my sin for so long. Oh, nothing felt better. Nothing. No weed. There's no drug that could ever make me feel good like that, dude. It was awesome.
Dude, that's so cool. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, but I just remember me and Josh were holding hands. I've never held a hand with a dude before. I've never held a hand with a dude before in a serious situation. It was always being funny, whatever. But so that was powerful in itself. what's going on? I'm holding this dude's hand. This dude's 21 at the time, trying to give a 15-year-old, trying to get a 15-year-old to give his life to Christ. And it worked. It worked. I mean, it's nothing that Josh did. It's just the Lord leading him. Like, I'm so, like, the main thing, actually, I'll say it in a second, but something about the Lord's faithfulness. I'm saying that so I don't forget it. But I just remember Josh, we were holding hands and we were crying together. And because Josh had been so persistent in my life, and he had been my friend every second that I needed a friend. Yeah. You know when you like need someone there and they're not there for you. Mm-hmm. I can't recall a moment where I've needed Josh and Josh was not there. He's a great friend. So he's the person that led me to Christ and discipled me, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just remember holding his hand and we were praying together. I was bawling my eyes. I mean, there was nothing like it, man. There was nothing like the joy that was rushing through my mind, saying the words, "I am a sinner, please save me," which is crazy. And our one-on-one had gone into like the time it was about time for club. People were lining up outside the club room, and so
this was before the end of the camp where they all
This was June 29th, a Thursday, and it ended July 1st, June 26th to July 1st. That was the.
And this was like 2023.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I think you and I basically I was at church camp. But I think I got saved at the same time.
That's epic.
I don't remember the exact date, but
that's so cool.
At least because maybe we'll do. I'll have you come in and I'll tell you my faith.
Yeah.
My story. Because we're gonna run out of time.
Yeah.
But I that's when I rededicated myself. But now I've done a lot of self-reflection. I was I don't think, because I confessed. I believe there was Jesus, but at the same time, I knew the difference between right and wrong, but I didn't live out that life until I rededicated myself, and that's where I believe I actually got saved.
Yeah.
But maybe next week.
Yeah,
maybe next week. If you're down.
Yeah, I'd be down.
But dude, that is the coolest thing. Dude, I really wish I was there. I want to see.
I wish I was there too. I wish I was there again.
Dude, I want to because I say this to so many of you guys. It's I don't know what you guys were like because I've known you since you've known Jesus.
Yeah.
But you doing any we chasing girls looking at for money. I can't imagine. I can't see you. And I've heard kids at school talk about you as you completely changed, and it's how does this guy been in you that?
Yeah, well, dude, give myself to the Lord. He never lets me down. He makes me a better person, yes, but also he just loves me so much. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I just felt the love of Christ, and how could I say no?
Yeah.
How could I possibly say no to that? So just giving myself to that daily is my entire life, and that has never let me down. It's been good ever since. And Jesus has been good to me ever since then, and you will continue to be. And when I see him face to face, I think that will be a better moment. I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they'll equal. I don't know.
Hey, dude, great talking to you.
Great talking.
This is amazing.
It was amazing. I love sharing about my testimony because it's joyful for me. I get to talk about my friend. I get to talk about my friend Jesus. And my father, and someone who loved me so much. There's a song called All My Life by Ray Nugent. It's pretty good.
All right.
He's on YouTube.
Okay.
So you can listen to him. He's really, really good. His music is it aligns with me a lot. All my life says, all my life you chased me down, sought me out, pursued me till I was yours. Yeah. Which is just so crazy to me because that's exactly what happened, dude. And it's it's the same for everyone else. It's the same for the people who's ever watching this video. It's the same for you. He sought you out, man. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to stop till he gets you. So,
dude, that's fantastic. Dude, this is so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Thank you for letting me do this.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Hey.
I love you, Ty. I love you.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I love Jesus, man.
Jesus.
You gotta love the Lord, am I right?
Jesus is King. Jesus Christ.